Morning everybody. So today is Saturday the 19th of May. As you can see, the sun is shining and I'm outside. So today is the morning or the day of Harry and Meghan, the royal wedding. However, I fell asleep last night, so I've not updated from Friday. So I'm just going to quickly do that and then we'll get on to today. So Friday the 18th of May, what can I say about Friday? It was pretty awful in terms of how I was feeling. I woke up, I had a really bad headache, I was really tired. I went to psychology and I saw my psychologist Anita, and we just talked a lot about PMDD, and she's actually sort of looking at my diagnosis of borderline personality disorder or emotionally unstable personality disorder or traits of emotionally unstable personality disorder, which is something that I've always questioned. And it was really strange because obviously I'd been talking about it in the video the other day, and then I didn't even bring it up, and she said, we talked about the letter that she's sending to London to talk about my mental health care being coordinated with my gynecological health care for PMDD and how they need to do some joint care planning and things. And she said one of the questions I'm asking is, you know, how do we differentiate your mental health diagnoses against your PMDD, and are your sort of mental health diagnoses now all valid? Because like I've said before, you know, I've definitely been depressed, I've definitely been anxious, I've definitely had an eating disorder. However, this emotionally unstable personality disorder or traits of unstably emotional personality disorder, I'm not quite so sure I meet that criteria. I personally think that's more my PMDD, and to hear that coming from her, that's something that she's questioning, was actually really reassuring and nice to hear. I was also really pleased with myself yesterday because I'm finally seeming to get on top of things and get organised. So I've had this massive pile of paperwork, and I mean it was huge, of things that I needed to do, and like an A4 list of things that I needed to, emails and things, paperwork things that I needed to do. And I've almost there, I've nearly got it all done, and the pile of paperwork has gone down, as in it's not on the floor anymore, it actually fits in a drawer, which is amazing because it just makes me feel so much less chaotic in myself, not knowing that I've got this paperwork that I need to do everywhere. I was also really pleased because, like I said, when I've had my PMDD episodes, I've really struggled to get myself organised. Like, I've always been quite an organised person, but it's always felt like chaos. And like yesterday, I managed to pack ready for the marathon and pack everything, and by I think 8 o'clock last night I'd done my t-shirt, everything was packed, you know, I didn't have to go home again. And that's just something that I've always wanted to be able to do but not been able to do over the last few years. As well, like being that organised, it just brings a calm to me because I'm not stressing and rushing around all the time, and I can actually enjoy things in the moment a lot more because I'm not thinking about what I need to do because it's already done. I can just enjoy the moment, and that's really important to me at the moment. Another thing that my psychologist told me actually was that, you know, people have noticed, people that don't know my diagnosis, don't know anything about the Progesterone Holiday, they have noticed a massive change in me, to the point that they've mentioned it to my psychologist, and they've mentioned it to me, and they've said, you know, you're like a completely different person to the person that you were before. And that's massive, and that tells me just how much my PMDD does impact me, and it does change my personality. I become like stressed and emotional and distressed and highly anxious, and it's just a horrible place to be in. So if I can find some relief from it through not having progesterone and potentially having to have a hysterectomy after 16 years of hell, although I never ever wanted to have a hysterectomy, it's something that I'm going to have to do. The way I keep thinking about it is, if somebody told me that I'd got endometrial cancer and I needed to have a hysterectomy, I wouldn't think twice about that. I'd be like, yeah, take it out, get rid of it. I don't want any of that risk of like my life being at risk. When actually, from my PMDD, my life is at risk like every single month. Every single time I have progesterone in my system, my life is at risk from the self-destructive actions that I carry out and from everything else. So it's sort of a no-brainer. Like, I want to live, I want to have a life that is more than PMDD, and so I have to make a really difficult decision and have the hysterectomy and the bilateral ovary removal if I can't find a treatment option that's going to stabilise me and allow me to have a life worth living.